Hey YouTube, it's old Watachi again. There's something, with this scare of the coronavirus coming out of China and everything, and the way the government started pushing it. Chinese government's claiming 65 million people under quarantine or some shit. But I've been thinking about this here over the last week or so, anyway, and it brought back a memory to me. Something was put back in my face. Um, when I was about in 2015, and that's when I actually started my YouTube channel. And some of my earlier videos were I was videoing police officers on stops, videotaping anything. If I was ever involved with a police officer, a DUI checkpoint, whatever it might be, that was when I started videotaping and putting my YouTube channel together. Well, back in 2015 or 2016, I can't remember which, me and my wife got in our motor home. We went down to my parents' house in Athens, Alabama, and was staying down there for a while. About 3 months we stayed down there with them. And in the time that I was there, I had family members that worked at what the Redstone Arsenal, it's called, but it's a military base. Now, on this military base, I don't know how far it goes back. It could go back as far as World War I. They had all of these chemical weapons, bombs, that they had made probably during the World War I, World War II. They made some more newer chemicals, newer whatever. And, then we went into the Korean War, and I'm sure they made some more chemical weapons back then. And, in Vietnam, probably every war we've ever been in, they've made some kind of newer chemical weapon. Well, these weapons really haven't never been used, but they made thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of them. Well, at the Redstone Arsenal, and the people that worked on the base and actual soldiers and stuff that I was talking to, they told me that the base had a shutdown going on it. What they decided to do with these old chemical weapons that bombs and stuff that they had, they didn't have nowhere to really put them. And they had them scattered all over the United States, and all the bases probably somewhere had some. And especially if they had anything to do with the Air Force and these bombs, or that branch of government, Air Force, or whoever might have an Air Force, like the Marines have an Air Force and stuff. So, but anyway, let's get back to the main thing. They didn't have nothing to do with these, all these chemical weapons that they have made, because I think they probably made them thinking if they couldn't win the war any other way, they could win them with these chemical weapons. But they didn't really use them. They had them stockpiling up, didn't have nowhere to put them. So what they did at the Redstone Arsenal is they brought in some heavy equipment, dug some big holes in the ground. They put these damn bombs and weapons down in the ground and then covered them up with dirt. That was their way of getting rid of them. Well, I think they said it's been about 50 years since those things were put in the ground. And they started noticing some problems in those areas, so they started digging into it, and they finding out that these damn bombs have, because they've been in the ground so long, the casings and everything has pretty much disintegrated, and these chemicals are leaking out into the ground. These chemical weapons are leaking out into the ground in the Huntsville, Alabama area. This was 5 years ago, people. 4 or 5 years ago, this was the base was worried about it. Now, I ain't heard a thing they've done about it. Nobody down there has heard a thing that they've done about it. They just stopped talking about it. But this is what I'm saying about this coronavirus pandemic. They put this damn pandemic out there, the coronavirus. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody that mentioned it to me, but I even believe Lysol used to claim Lysol killed the coronavirus right on the can. The Lysol spray stuff. Well, they come out with this damn pandemic basically because they said it was moving so fast in China and how they had to put 64 million people under quarantine. Well, people, when they put you under quarantine, you absolutely have no rights. That's worse than martial law. If they can go call it a quarantine, there is nothing. You have no nothings. You have no rights to nothing. Not food, not water, not nothing. They might give it to you. You might be able to get it, but you have no rights for it. You're under quarantine. I think it's for 40-some days. But they came out with this coronavirus being this deadly. Oh my God, it's going to cross the world and kill everybody. And even Perel hand lotion, hand sanitizer was saying that their hand sanitizer kills the coronavirus. They jacked this story up and ran with it all across all the CNN and NBC and MSNBC and all these news channels and across the social medias, how this thing was going to be it's going to wreck everything, going to kill millions and millions of people. And what does Trump do? The people that was in China when this was released, because it was released, people. It wasn't something that happened in nature. This was released. There's a patent on it, and there's an actual antidote for it, because they can't patent it without having an antidote for it, and it is patented. But all they were doing is they was wanting to see how people were going to react. Now, however many people died, I don't know. But it wasn't no different than people dying from the flu, because that's all it was a flu. Some different form of flu, but it was a flu virus. People get sick and die, period. That happens every year, all year. It's always happened. But no more than, they didn't have nowhere close to the amount of people who die from the flu vaccine every year that's died for the coronavirus. But they're wanting to make this big deal about it. Well, I think what they're really beating around the bush to is they've not only did this down at the Redstone Arsenal in Alabama where they buried these chemical weapons, they've probably done it all over the country. So chances are they can't go in and dig his shit up and dig his chemical out of the dirt. So they're going to leave it. And then it's going to get into the water supply, and it's going to get into, if it ain't already, after 50 years. And the pandemic's going to come from the ground, not the air, people. It's going to come from the ground and all these chemical weapons that they've buried. And who knows what else they've buried. So, I don't know, people. We got this stuff. It just blows my mind. I don't even know where to go, what to say about it. I mean, but this stuff is true, people. You can look it up. You can look it up. Athens, Alabama, Huntsville area has a Redstone Arsenal. Look it up. This stuff's been leaking into the ground for, as far as I know, they found it 5 years ago. They haven't done nothing about it. It's been leaking for 5 years at least into the ground. in Athens, between Athens and Huntsville, Alabama. Same place that NASA's got their space museum or whatever, and you can go over and see them floppy ass tin cans that they claim went to the moon. You can go over and see that shit. Or you can see those damn airplanes, basically, that they called space shuttles. They claimed that space shuttle would do 1,300 feet per second. That damn space shuttle wouldn't hold up to 1,300 feet per second going through our atmosphere. It would break up into pieces. Ain't no way. But anyway, that's all I want to talk about in this video. You guys have a good day out there, and may God bless us all, because we're going to need it. Good day, folks.